Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Ka-Pow Comics, and we're carrying on with our best of the year. And I've got a list next to the laptop, and I move it away slightly when I'm recording, and then I forget that I need to go, which place is this one? Oh yeah, it is number 7. So we're getting there. This is halfway through the list. Excellent. There's still a few more to come, and I'm hoping to surprise maybe a few of you. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about, I've already spoke about before, but this is one of the ones I have not mentioned before. And there's a reason for that. There's also a reason why I'm bending my rules a little bit to include it. It's Trese, which is from a Blaze Comics, and there's a Netflix anime series, and they're all fantastic. Go and check them out. Thing is, the first volume came out at the tail end of last year, and I didn't get it in store until I think January, or at least very late December. Basically because Blaze was a company that I was only just kind of picking up and paying attention to, and I'm not really a big anime manga fan, and nobody had asked for it. But it was getting some buzz, and I thought, you know what? You never know. It's going to be one of those things that somebody's going to come in and say, "Oh, I've heard there's going to be a Netflix series of this comic book. Have you got it in?" That was literally my only reason for getting it in, and I apologize to everyone involved for doing that because it's brilliant. And there's a lot of reasons why it's brilliant, and we're going to get to some of the kind of like non-specific comic book reasons first, namely the fact that a lot of the stuff I read, both fiction, non-fiction, comic book, prose, and sometimes TV series and movies, when they deal with mythology and legend, they are very, very Eurocentric. Almost certainly UK or Great Britain or England, or however you want to phrase it, centric as well. And that's cool. I mean, I know a lot about that. I studied history at degree level, history and heritage, in fact. So we actually got to talk quite a lot about myth and legend. I did my dissertation on Scandinavian black metal and how it can use Norse mythology and whatever to get its point across, and how it can also weaponize that against people in an anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, misogynist kind of way. It's a lot of fun. But this is based in the Philippines, and it has an awful lot of mythology and legend which I'd never heard of. Now, there's a part of me which is, again, the very Eurocentric part of me who grew up in this country, who did all their reading research based on it, who read this and thought, oh my God, this is cool. It's original, it's brand new. And it isn't really. I mean, obviously it isn't. These are stories from myth and legend just from the Philippines rather than from Birmingham. It is different, though, to Western eyes or European eyes and American eyes. And I think it's something that needs to be done as a result of that. That's what actually convinced me to pick it up and read it for myself. Throw into the mix the fact that I also really like urban fantasy. Like quite a lot. One of my all-time favorite books is the Neil Gaiman book Neverwhere, which isn't even like on, like, if you ask like hardcore Neil Gaiman fans, like their top 3 things he's done, I don't think Neverwhere would be on there, but I love it. It was like my first like inkling of what you can do with urban fantasy, and I love Rivers of London and well, a lot of stuff. I could carry on with it. Oh, there's a Secret Service or some Shadow Service from another comic book. Yeah, go and read that one. That was brilliant as well. But mixing that whole, like, yes, this is a new bunch of myths and legends, and it's urban fantasy, and it's like, yeah, okay, now I'm going to pick it up and now I'm going to read it. And fairly quickly, I had a lot of fun with it because it is brilliant. It looks fantastic. The artwork on it is done in a kind of like a minimalistic-ish kind of way. There is an artist called Danny who's currently doing Arkham City Order of the World, and she has kind of like that similar kind of minimalist style where it's not 100% minimalist. It's just it doesn't use unnecessary lines. It trusts the shapes to do it instead of having everything outlined for it. I was trying to find a really good example of it, and weirdly, my favorite example is one that doesn't really show much. It's not like a huge story beat, but I like that panel. I like it a lot with what it does with shadow and light, and it shows exactly what's going on. It's not overly creative in terms of angle. It's not really a cool page layout or anything like that, but it's a very effective way of showing what you can do with a minimal amount of actual lines on the page. I really like it as a result of that. And then you get the action sequence, and it's brilliant. And that added extra things to my enjoyment of it because it's not just urban fantasy, which quite often is, dark and foreboding, and quite often it can play with police involvement, or at least investigative kind of involvement, and as a result, the action sequences are not as big a part of it. This one, it really leans into it. There is full on action sequences. The main character, Trese, has 2 companions who are some kind of supernatural twins who have the ability to just be awesome, apparently, is their magic thing. And they're an absolutely brilliant pair of characters. Even though they are very rarely given huge amounts of dialogue, they are thoroughly engaging and absolutely watchable. In the TV series, you actually get quite a little bit of background for them. And the TV series is kind of one of the criticisms I thought I would have. Not that it is a TV series, that's fine. But the way the TV series is framed kind of made me think, well, yeah, the comic books does the same kind of thing, which is it's a police procedural. And I've said in the record before, I'm not a big fan of that kind of storytelling. It can be fun if you can kind of do something different with it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy Lucifer, and most of the first 3 or 4 seasons is just a police procedural with a twist. But I liked it because the twist was interesting. It engaged me at least a little bit more. And this one does the same kind of thing. Also, one of the nice things it changes from the standard kind of urban fantasy is quite often the human, the reader avatar in it is usually the main character who would be a normal person in a normal world who suddenly finds out that there is a whole other different layer, a demi-monde, as it were, beneath wherever, like Unlondon by China Michael does it very well. And this person, not knowing what's going on, drops into the world and has to have things explained to them, which gives you, the reader, a chance to understand a little bit deeper. Trese doesn't do that. Her father did the job before her and has been doing this like multi-generational thing going on here. She's been doing it since she was a kid. She's been helping out her dad. Even before she was helping out, she was aware of it. So you don't have all this kind of stuff explained to you. But there's back matter at the end of every one where they do give little like case notes as if it's somebody who's actually paying attention to what Trese is doing and making notes on it to present to somebody else. Now, this could actually be a story device, and I hope it is in some way, because that'd be kind of cool. But if not, it's a really effective way of just letting the person reading it in English know what these myths are based on. And they're always interesting and really inspirational as well. I do tabletop role playing, as I've said repeatedly, and they have really given me some very cool ideas about stuff I can bring into my game, where I get to play around with stuff that people might not be 100% aware of anymore, or maybe now they have because they've watched Trese on Netflix or whatever. But the story ideas do come across as really original because of that. I'm not saying these are fully original ideas, but the way they're presented is for me, and that matters a lot. The writing, the artwork, the stories, everything about it is fantastic. It's good enough that even though it's a police procedural, even though it's got a very manga art style and is an anime TV series on Netflix, 3 things which do not usually matter to me in the slightest, and in fact can turn me off as products, all don't matter in the face of how well they work together, how nice they twist my expectations, and just how genuinely good this comic book is. At this point in time, there's only 2 volumes you can get from Ablaze. We only have volume 2 because we keep selling out of it, probably because I keep telling everyone it's amazing. But if you're lucky enough to have one in your local comic store, go and grab one. You do get like a big chunk of story for just picking up one of the books, and it is going to be in the UK $14.99. So it's not a huge amount of money. Rather than getting the single issues, you can just go and grab them. I think, like in the Philippines or wherever, you can get them like as single issues, but I don't know 100% if that's ever going to happen or has ever happened in English. But I really like it, and I think everyone should give it a shot. It is something a little bit different, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying something new. That's it for me today. I am going to be back tomorrow, even though it's Saturday. I'm going to find some time to stick an extra video up on here. If you have been enjoying these, or if you haven't, if you disagree with me massively, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind. I'll happily engage with people. Just if you want to carry on watching them, though, for whatever reason, hit the subscribe button and the bell thing and do whatever else you want to do. And basically, make sure you don't miss any. But until tomorrow, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.